Switching the groove is, it's movement and music. That's what I love to do. I also say that's very hard to do sometimes. My name is Amy Hall Garner, and I live in New York City, and I'm a choreographer. I want to play with the dynamic of the music and the movement and the dancers who could actually do that. BalletX dancers are phenomenal in the fact that they have this wonderful classical training, but they also can use their backs, they also can move through space, they also could go to the floor, they could fly, they could do anything you ask them to do. So that's kind of where I wanted this piece to live, and that's where the title came from.
My name is Savannah Green. I'm from New York City, and I've been in BalletX since 2019. Yeah, there's 3 very distinct songs. The first one is like this guitar. It's softer in the beginning, and then it gets really percussive and exciting. And then we transition into the second section, which is a lot more romantic and piano-filled, and so the vibe really kind of switches. And then we go into this like third finale section, which is just very percussive and electronic, and it's like enthralling.
There are 3 different chapters in this work, and I tend to like that because it keeps the journey. Going back to music and feeling what that is in my search for music, I always like to have music that takes me on a journey, to have music that I could start seeing the steps and start seeing what I want to say and seeing how I want the dancers to move. So I chose 3 different tracks that they're cohesive, but they're also very different, and they could stand alone. I like dancers, I like their hearts to be pumping. I couldn't do it at my age right now. There was one time maybe I could, but not now, and I love giving back to them and seeing what they could do and how they embody the movement. It is very physical. I like that. I like the challenge of it. I like using their technique. These dancers, they've trained since they were young. They at least should use what they have been doing every day and what they're so disciplined in doing. So I try to honor that and also honor how I would love to see them move as well. What comes from my history and my DNA of dance, what I've studied and what's organically in me. They're mastering it, so it doesn't look like a challenge for them. They got it.
I've been sore for about a week and a half, but it's really fulfilling. In a venue like the Mann Center, we do need that physicality, so I can see how it's going to translate to this big theater where a lot of people can feel, the softness in one section that translates into, we're sweeping across the stage and making rhythms with our feet and in our bodies that matches the music.
In the creation space, the relationship with the choreographer and dancer is it's so sacred. It is everything. When you have a dancer in front of you that understands where you're coming from, that understands your process and how you work, it's just so easy. And it's just so sacred when you find that. And being here at BalletX, all these dancers have that energy. They're right there with you. I always say a dancer has to be with me. And that's exactly what I mean. It's that energy that they're willing to try things. It's very intuitive, it's very personal, it's just special. And when you find that moment, it's just it just clicks. My first connection to BalletX is when we worked together, during the pandemic, and to be able to actually see the dancers who I worked with face to face in the studio, not through Zoom, to actually have the connection. I feel like I'm completing that moment, finally, that we started with new heights. This actually feels normal. We're putting the period on that sentence. think when you come to the theater, especially in this climate, you want to be uplifted. You want to leave better than you came in those doors. So I try to make sure I always keep that in the back of my mind. How can this transcend and make people feel better?